Welcome students to our new YouTube channel Pharma X Tech, the division of excellence. So we will start with the new chapter of central nervous system, which is Parkinson's and other movement disorders. So in this Parkinson's, that means anti-Parkinson's drugs. So let's start to this chapter, anti-Parkinson's drugs. So in that, first the Parkinson's disease was first described by James Parkinson. So in GPAT there is a question, who first described the Parkinson's disease, and the right answer is James Parkinson, and this is for your general knowledge. So next we will see the features of this Parkinsonism. So first feature is tremors, and they are resting tremors. Frequency of tremors is 4 seconds, and also first in fingers or thumb, and also due to excessive acetylcholine. These are the causes of and also types of these tremors. So the next one is rigidity. Cog wheel rigidity due to upper limbs, and lead pipe rigidity in legs plus in trunk, and also due to excessive acetylcholine. So next we will see the hypokinesis due to deficiency of dopamine. This include tremors of Parkinsonism is best relieved by benztropine. This benztropine is anticholinergic, and also the akinesia, also known as hypokinesis of Parkinsonism, is best corrected by the drug levodopa. So in GPAT there is a question, which drug is best for akinesis or hypokinesis? So the right answer is levodopa. So next, also in Lewy bodies in neurons of brain. So this is we see in Parkinsonism. So next we will see the classification of drugs of this anti-Parkinson's disease. Anti-Parkinson's. So the first is drugs affecting brain dopaminergic system, and the dopamine precursor is levodopa, and the dopaminergic agonists, they include bromocriptine, lyseride, pergolide, apomorphine, and pyridine. So these are dopaminergic agonists, includes bromocriptine, lyseride, pergolide, apomorphine, and pyridine. So next we will see peripheral dopa decarboxylase inhibitors, and they are carbidopa and benserazide. So these carbidopa and benzerazides are peripheral dopa decarboxylase inhibitor. So also in GPAT there is a question that examples of peripheral dopa decarboxylase inhibitors, and the right answer is carbidopa and benserazide. So the next one is drugs facilitating dopaminergic transmissions, and they are amantadine and selegiline. So next we will see the drugs affecting brain cholinergic system. In that, the first one is central anticholinergics, and they are trihexylphenidil. This trihexylphenidil also known as benzhexol. So next is benztropine, bipyridine, and procyclidine, and also the antihistaminics like orphanadrine and promethazines are the drugs affecting brain in cholinergic systems. So next we will see the levodopa. So this levodopa is also called universal anti-Parkinsonian drug, and it improves all manifestation of this Parkinsonism. And its clinical features best corrected by levodopa is bradykinesia. So in GPAT there is a question that which clinical feature is best corrected by levodopa, and the right answer is bradykinesia. So next we will see the benefits of dopaminergic anti-Parkinsonism drugs are due to stimulation of D receptors, and also the plasma half-life of this levodopa is 1 to 3 hours, and also the percentage of levodopa entering the brain when used alone is 1 to 3%, and also the percentage of levodopa entering the brain when used with dopa decarboxylase inhibitor is 10%. So next we will see the adverse effect of this levodopa. So the adverse effects more common in patients taking levodopa alone, and they are gastrointestinal effects include vomiting due to stimulation of CTZ by dopamine, and also cardiovascular system effects in that like tachycardia and ventricular extrasystoles. So next we will see the adverse effects more common in patients taking combination of levodopa with carbidopa. So these are adverse effects more common in patients taking combination of levodopa with carbidopa, and they are dyskinesia. These include chorioathetosis of face and distal extremities most common, and also behavioral effects. So next, and also the other adverse effects like Coombs positive hemolysis, priapism, aggravation of precipitation of gout, and discoloration of saliva. These are other adverse effect of this levodopa. So there is so this adverse effect not only give in all textbook and all references books. So this other extra adverse effects is also available on our video. So these are most important for GPAT. So these other adverse effects in of levodopas are Coombs positive hemolysis, aggravation of precipitation of gout, priapism, and discoloration of the saliva. So next we will see the drug interactions in levodopa. They are vitamin which decreases the efficacy of levodopa is pyridoxine. This pyridoxine is known as vitamin B6. So next we will see the other drugs blocking dopamine receptors and decreasing the efficacy, and they are phenothiazines, butyrophenones, and metoclopramide. So these are drugs blocking dopamine receptors and decreasing efficacies, and they are phenothiazine, metoclopramide, and butyrophenones. Then next we will see the bromocriptine. So this bromocriptine acts as dopaminergic drugs at D2 receptors, and use of this bromocriptine is in Parkinson's disease, in suppression of lactation, and also in hepatic coma, and also this bromocriptine is used in acromegaly, and also in hyperprolactinemia. The drug of choice is bromocriptine. So there is a question in GPAT, which is the drug of choice in hyperprolactinemia, and the right answer is bromocriptine. So next we will see the adverse effect of this bromocriptine. The adverse effects in cardiovascular systems, in that the postural hypotension and painless digital vasospasm, and also erythromelalgia. So this erythromelalgia, that means erythromelalgia include red painful swollen feet. Next we will see the contraindications of this bromocriptine, and they are patients with psychotic illness and recent myocardial infarction. So these are contraindications of bromocriptine include patients with psychotic illness and recent myocardial infarction. So in this case the bromocriptine is not used. So next we will see the drugs causing hyperprolactinemia. So these drugs causing hyperprolactinemia included dopamine antagonists, and they are phenothiazines like chlorpromazine and butyrophenones. There is haloperidol and also metoclopramide. So next is dopamine depleting drugs. So in dopamine depleting drugs, examples are rezarpine and methyl dopa, and also estrogens, and also TRH, thyroid releasing hormone. So the next we will see the drug of choice in the treatment of hyperprolactinemia, and the drug of choice in treatment of hyperprolactinemia is bromocriptine and others which decreases prolactin secretion of levodopa and dopamine. So next we will see the drug which is amantadine. So this amantadine is antiviral drug used in the treatment of Parkinsonism is amantadine. So there is a question in GPAT, which antiviral drug used in the treatment of Parkinsonism or Parkinson disease is, and the right answer is amantadine. So next we will see the adverse effect of this amantadine include livedo reticularis, peripheral edema, congestive heart disease, that means congestive heart failure or any other, and also postural hypotension. So the drugs causing livedo reticularis is amantadine, and also the anti-Parkinsonian drug causing congestive heart failure is also amantadine. Next we will see the uses of this amantadine. The amantadine is used in Parkinson's disease and also influenza A2 infections, that means prophylactic and therapeutics. So next we will see the anticholinergics and the symptoms. In that, the symptoms of Parkinsonism best relieved by anticholinergic, and this is benztropine. So these symptoms include tremors. So these tremor symptoms of Parkinson's are best relieved by anticholinergics, and this is benztropine. So next we will see the drug of choice in drug induced Parkinsonism is also benztropine. So this is most important question in GPAT, which is the drug of choice in drug induced Parkinson's disease is, and the right answer is benztropine. So the next we will see the contraindications of this amantadine, and they include prostate hypertrophy, angle closure, glaucoma, and obstructive gastrointestinal disorders. So in these cases like prostate hypertrophy, angle closure, glaucoma, and obstructive gastrointestinal disorders, the amantadine is not used. So next we will see the dihydroxyphenylserine, that means DOPS. The dihydroxyphenylserine it is the drug of choice in Parkinson's patient with triggering episodes. So there is a question in GPAT, which is the drug of choice in Parkinson's patient with triggering episodes, and the right answer is dihydroxyphenylserine, that means DOPS. So next we will see the drugs causing Parkinsonisms, and they include dopamine depleting agents like reserpine and tetrabenazine. So these reserpine and tetrabenazines are the dopamine depleting agents. So next we will see the dopaminergic receptors blockers. So and the examples of these dopaminergic receptor blockers include phenothiazines, and in that chlorpromazine, and also butyrophenones like haloperidol, and also the drug damaging dopaminergic neurons, like it includes methylphenyl tetrahydrophycidine. So this methylphenyl tetrahydrophycidine is the drug damaging dopaminergic neurons. So this methylphenyl tetrahydrophycidine is the drug of choice in treatment of drug induced Parkinson's disease, benzotropine. So there is a question in GPAT, which is the drug of choice in treatment of drug induced Parkinsonism is benztropine. And also, so this is most important question for GPAT, drug of choice in the treatment of drug induced Parkinson's is benztropine. So next we will see the metal causing Parkinsonism, and the metal causing Parkinsonism is the drug which is manganese. So this metal causing Parkinsonism, the metal is manganese. So in GPAT, which there is a question as which metal causes Parkinsonism, and the right answer is manganese, that means manganese. So the next we will see the punch drunk syndrome. This is Parkinsonism in boxers. So this punch drunk syndromes is seen with in boxers. They play in boxing and for India and other countries. So this punch drunk syndrome is seen those boxers, that means those boxers having Parkinsonisms and Parkinson's disease. So this is most important question for GPAT. So that is which syndrome is seen in Parkinson's in boxers, and the right answer is punch drunk syndrome. So the next we will see the movement of disorders and site of lesions. So the first movement of disorder is chorea, and the site of lesion is caudate nucleus. The next disorder is Parkinsonism, and the site of lesion is substantia nigra and corpus striatum. So these Parkinsonism affect the substantia nigra and corpus striatum. So the next is hemibalismus. So this hemibalismus disorder, the site of lesion for this is subthalamic nucleus. And also the last disorder is athetosis or dystonia, and the site of lesion for this athetosis and dystonia is basal ganglia. This basal ganglia is also known as putamen. So we see the one by one. The chorea, the site of lesion is caudate nucleus, and the pathology of this chorea is due to excessive dopamine. Next we will see the causes of chorea, and they are inherited Huntington's disease and also autosomal dominant disease. That means autosomal dominant disease are causes of chorea, and also they transmitted through defective gene on chromosome number 4. And also the Huntington's chorea is characterized by the deficiency of gamma amino butyric acid. So next we will see the infections. In infections like rheumatic chorea, the Sydenham's chorea affects the children and adolescents girls. So the next third one is metabolic, and the metabolic causes are thyrotoxicosis and also hypoparathyroidism and also pregnancy and also oral contraception. Then next we will see the treatments of this chorea. In that, first one is dopamine receptor antagonists, dopamine depleting agents, and also GABA enhancing drugs like sodium valproate are the treatment of this chorea disease. So there is a question in GPAT, which GABA inducing drug used in chorea, and the right answer is sodium valproate. So and also the anti-epileptics used in the treatment of chorea is also sodium valproate. So these both are most important question that is in GPAT is anti-epileptic used in the treatment of chorea, and the right answer is sodium valproate. So next we will see the drugs causing chorea, and the drugs causing chorea are levodopa, lithium, amphetamine, antimuscarinic drugs, and phenytoin, and also oral contraceptives. So these drugs causing chorea includes levodopa, amphetamine, phenytoin, lithium, antimuscarinic drugs, and also oral contraceptives. Last we will see the drugs induced dyskinesis, and the most common extrapyramidal side effects of phenothiazines is akathisia. Next one is most several extrapyramidal side effects of phenothiazines, and these are tardive dyskinesia, that means tardive dyskinesis, and also the most common type of tardive dyskinesia is orofacio-mandibular movement. So this is most common type of tardive dyskinesia is orofacio-mandibular movement. So next we will see the drug of choice in the treatment of tardive dyskinesia is tetrabenazine. So there is a question in GPAT, which is the drug of choice in the treatment of tardive dyskinesia, and the right answer is tetrabenazine or tetrabenazine. So the next one is last is phenothiazine with least risk of extrapyramidal side effects is, and the drug used is thioridazine. So there is a question in GPAT, which phenothiazine with least risk of extrapyramidal side effects drug, and the right answer is thioridazine. So So next we will see the most important points in anti-Parkinson's drugs. So this Parkinsonism, it is an extrapyramidal disorder related to dysfunction of the basal ganglia, and it results in disturbance of movement and posture without significant paralysis. And these movement disorders can be divided into two types. In that, first one is akinetic rigid syndromes, Parkinsonism, in which there is paucity of movements, that means akinesia or bradykinesia, often accompanied by an increase in muscle tone, that means rigidity. And the second one is hyperkinesia or dyskinesias, which are associated with excessive abnormal involuntary movements. And the normally equilibrium exists between acetylcholine and dopamine. With dopamine deficiency, there is acetylcholine hyperactivity, and this may be mechanism for Parkinsonian symptoms. So the mechanism of Parkinsonian symptoms includes that normally the equilibrium exists between acetylcholine and dopamine. With dopamine deficiency, there is acetylcholine hyperactivity. So this is a mechanism for Parkinsonian symptoms. So next we will see the dopamine receptors, and they are D1 and D5 in excitatory, and it occurs in the brain cortex, limbic system, striatum and cardiovascular system, and acting through increasing the CAMP and increasing the phospholipase C. So the next dopamine receptors are D2, D3 and D4. They are inhibitory receptors, and they occurs in the brain cortex, limbic system, striatum, pituitary and cardiovascular system, and they acting through decrease in CAMP, potassium channel, that means K plus channel, and increase K plus channel increases, and Ca2 plus, that means calcium channel, decreases. And note that the D1 receptor enhances the release of inhibitory transmitters of GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid, through the direct pathway, while D2 receptors negatively modulates the GABAergic relay and an excitatory glutamateric transmission. So stimulation of this D1 excitatory as well as D2 inhibitory receptors in the striatum net effects exerts as reduced muscle rigidity and tone. So next we will see the anti-Parkinson's drugs. So in that we first see the drugs affect the brain dopaminergic system, and in that the first one is dopamine precursors is levodopa, and also dopamine decarboxylase inhibitors like carbidopa and beniserazide, and also the dopaminergic agonists like bromocriptine, ropinirole and pramipixole. So next one is MAO-B inhibitors like selegiline, and COMT inhibitors like talcapone. In anti-Parkinson's drugs, these drugs affect brain dopaminergic system, and also the dopamine facilitators includes amantadine. So the next one is central acting anticholinergics are trihexyphenidyl and procyclidine and bipyridine. Next we will see the antihistamines. Antihistaminics include orphanadrine and promethazine. So next we will see the levodopa. Levodopa, it is the precursor and prodrug of dopamine. So in the GPAT there is a question, who is the precursor and prodrug of dopamine, and the right answer is levodopa. And this levodopa dopamine prodrug of dopamine, and after the decarboxylation converts into dopamine in the peripheral tissues as well as brain neurons. The peripheral generated dopamine responsible has many side effects, and monoamino oxidase, that means MAO, this monoamino oxidase after the penetration of levodopa converts into dopamine, which acts on D1 and D2 receptors and it resolves the bradykinesia and rigidity and tremor, and also it gives the smoothing and muscular movements. So next we will see the actions, and the actions include first action on central nervous systems, and the actions are reduce bradykinesia, rigidity and tremor but give alerting response. The excitement psychosis may occur in central nervous system due to levodopa, and also increase sexual activity and decrease in prolactin release. And also second action is on dopamine stimulates to CTZ causes. The actions are like nausea and vomiting. And also in cardiovascular systems through D1 receptors stimulation of hearts produces tachycardia. And also the adverse effects in cardiovascular system include postural hypotension, nausea and vomiting, and also arrhythmia, etc. So the next we will see the in cardiovascular system prolonged therapy effects like facial tics, choreoathetoid movements, and nightmares, mania, hallucination, and the end of dose and on-off effect. So these all effects related to prolonged therapy effects in that facial tics, choreoathetoid movements, nightmares, mania, hallucination, and end of dose and on-off effects included. So the next we will see the interactions. So the interactions include pyridoxine increases the peripheral decarboxylation of levodopa, and this gives the drastically reduce the therapeutic effect of this levodopa. So this is main interaction, that is pyridoxine increases the peripheral decarboxylation of levodopa and it produces the drastically reduce the therapeutic effect of this levodopa. So next we will see the combination of these drugs used in this anti-Parkinson's disease. They are carbidopa and benacerazide, and these carbidopa and benacerazides, these drugs inhibits dopa decarboxylase in the peripheral tissue, and these do not penetrate in the brain, so they do not inhibit conversion of levodopa in the brain, and it only prevents the peripheral degradation of levodopa and potentiation of anti-Parkinson's action. And also they increases the T half of levodopa and reduce the dose to approximately 1/4, and on off effect is minimized. So when we take this carbidopa and benacerazide in a combination, then if you have the on off effect, so you take this carbidopa and benacerazide combination, then the on off effect will be minimized. So next we will see the drugs and their mechanism of action on and also adverse effects. So the first drug is bromocriptine, and the mechanism of action of this bromocriptine is at D1 and D2 agonist action, and the adverse effect of this bromocriptine is vomiting, hallucination and hypotension. So the next drug is ropinirole and pramipixole. The mechanism of action of this both ropinirole and pramipixole is at D2 agonist action, and the adverse effect of this ropinirole and pramipixole include nausea, hallucination and hypotension. So the next drug is selegiline, and the mechanism of action of this selegiline is the MAO-B inhibition, and also it prevents the dopamine degradation, and the adverse effect of this selegiline is postural hypotension, nausea and confusion. So the next drug is amantadine, and the mechanism of action of this amantadine is it enhances the presynaptic synthesis and release of dopamine, and the adverse effects in amantadine includes insomnia and nightmares. So these all adverse effects are most important for GPAT, and there is a question in GPAT, which adverse effect is insomnia, or which drug causes insomnia, and the right answer is amantadine. So and also the which drugs adverse effect is insomnia, the amantadine is the right answer for this question. So in this way we completed this chapter anti-Parkinson's drugs. In that we will see the classification of anti-Parkinson's drugs and their site of legends, and also their adverse effects, uses of every drug and also the combination therapy used in anti-Parkinson's drugs and also the mechanism of action of these anti-Parkinson's drugs and also the interactions of these anti-Parkinson's drugs, and last we will see the drugs mechanism of action and their adverse effects. So in this way there is the end of this chapter, anti-Parkinson's drugs. So hope you like this video. Please, if you like this video, please share with your GPAT aspirants as well as CET aspirants. So and also please like, share and subscribe to our channel for more updates, and we make videos for only for GPAT, CET, NIPER examination preparation. So these all videos are important. So please subscribe our channel. And thanks for watching this video. Thank you for watching this video. Stay tuned with Pharma X-Tech and also stay connected with Pharma X-Tech. Thank you. Stay tuned. Welcome students to our new YouTube channel Pharma X-Tech, the division of excellence. So we will start with the new chapter of central nervous system, which is Parkinson's and other movement disorders. So in this Parkinson's